Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am. The ride says it all. Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles. Honda's Big Red, Foreman, and Rancher, built to work. Yamaha Motor Canada, what kind of Yamaha are you? And by Arctic Cat, share our passion.
I have been to Hatfield Mccoy literally dozens of times. I've ridden nearly every one of their trail systems. I've been to Trails Fest more than 3 or 4 times now. I'm actually losing count. So this ain't my first rodeo. This trip was one I've done many times. So to mix things up on this trip, we thought it would be fun to bring along Mark. He's our dad.
We thought it'd be really cool for, father and sons to go out and do something, especially at Hatfield, where it's such a family-oriented town and such a welcoming place. We knew that Mark would love it.
It's a funny thing as you get older and your kids grow up and they don't live at home and they get married and then they bring you grandkids and your family grows, and yet in some ways it's really easy for your family to grow away from you. So this opportunity to travel to Hatfield Mccoy and do Trails Fest with Luke and AJ was something that I was really looking forward to. And when this idea first came up way last spring when we talked about this, I thought to myself, man, I am really gonna enjoy having my boys to myself again. And that was really a big part of this event for me, was to be able to have just the 3 of us, the 3 Lester guys together, and do something together. Okay, so I thought that Trails Fest was a big event. Was I ever wrong? Trails Fest is a ginormous event. In fact, I would have to think that this is one of the top 3, 4, maybe no more than the top 5 in all of North America ATV and side-by-side events. When we pulled into town, honestly, I was blown away. There is traffic jams with ATVs and side-by-sides in the town of Gilbert, where Trails Fest is actually based out of.
Trails Fest is always different, no matter how many times you've been there, no matter when you go, there's always something that's changing and morphing there. And I'd say this year the big difference was that it's bigger.
It has become almost a juggernaut of sorts in the town of Gilbert. It is just rolling on and taking down everything in its path to become what I think is one of the very best ATV side-by-side jamboree type events in all of North America.
The scope of Trails Fest is pretty staggering. In fact, I kind of made it a goal of mine to find out where people were from. We thought we came the furthest because we're Canadians and drove 15 hours to get to the event. But there was people there from Russia, there was other people there from Canada, there was people from the central western US, there was people there from the south. The town of Gilbert has to be the most welcoming community in all of North America for off-road vehicles. Honestly, as soon as you get there, there is something different going on.
My favorite thing about Hatfield Mccoy and really West Virginia as a whole, besides the amazing trails, is really the people. People here are so welcoming.
One of the things that's really cool about the event was the immediate camaraderie. There's a real bond, there's a real chemical reaction when these people all get together. They've got their machines with them, they've got their families with them. For sure they've got their families. I mean, we're talking kids, wives, husbands, in-laws, outlaws. They're all there as a family together. And people have a great time.
To say that we are well accepted at Hatfield Mccoy is just a huge understatement. They love Dirt Trax TV there, and we love them for loving us.
I was overwhelmed by the response I got from people coming up to me and shaking my hand and thanking me for things that I've done and said on the show. Some came up and disagreed with me, and that's fine. As long as you got an opinion, I'm happy to talk to you. This kind of interaction with people means that we have to be at Trails Fest at Hatfield Mccoy and Gilbert. We just have to do this event so that we can kind of squeeze you guys and get out of you what we need to hear so we can make Dirt Trax television even better. When you go to Hatfield Mccoy and you take part in the Trails Fest event, It's not just about taking your side-by-side or ATV and going for a trail ride. Not a chance. They keep you busy there. They have got activities that start Thursday and run right through till late Saturday night. You got like this biggest parade ever on the face of the earth of ATVs and side-by-sides where they just pack the town and have this huge parade. There's this activity area where they have a drag strip, and they have a mud bog that's all organized, and they got a big hi-ho there ready to pull ATVs and side-by-sides out if they get stuck. That area just draws people in like crazy, and they all want to see what the latest thing is going to be. Is somebody going to get stuck? Is somebody going to get covered in mud? Yes. They're all there to enjoy this kind of common area, and it seems to be sort of a meeting place for hundreds, maybe even thousands of ATVs and side-by-side vehicles and their operators. And so that becomes kind of a centerpiece, as well as all the exhibits and displays. There's great aftermarket stuff there, really cool accessories that I hadn't even seen, and we're in the business. There's really a good time, all centers around the recreation center and the fairgrounds type atmosphere in the middle of Gilbert. If you pay that registration fee and take part in Trails Fest, you're going to find yourself doing something, but you're probably going to find yourself doing more than one thing over the course of the weekend. So it's not like everybody just sits around and wonders what they're going to do, or everybody just goes for a trail ride. People are doing stuff together. I guarantee you, you go to Trails Fest, you're going to have new friends when you leave.
Because we've been to Trails Fest so many times in the past as Dirt Trax TV, we really wanted to take Trails Fest 2012 to a different level. We wanted to do something special, something that our fans and Trails Fest attendees would really appreciate. So we came up with this idea in conjunction with Hatfield Mccoy for a contest called Mod Your Quad. All you had to do was check a box when you signed in for Trails Fest, bring your vehicle, side-by-side or ATV, to our booth, and have AJ, Mark, and I look it over. You explain to us what you've done to your bike, why you've done it, what made it special, and what made it unique to you. That was the most important part of this contest, was that each vehicle is built for a different reason. Nobody has two ATVs that are the same as anybody else's. They're all unique to the rider.
People were showing up to our booth. You know, we were walking through and asking them what they'd done, and it was great because so many people showed up and so many people wanted to be a part of that. And obviously the prize pack was, you know, beneficial, and they saw it as something that's really valuable and wanted to come and wanted to be part of it. We have a great relationship with Itp Tires and Wheels, and they gave a full set of tires and wheels to the winner of their choice. Diamondback Covers actually came in and gave us not only just a UTV cover, but they gave us 50% off of any truck cover of the winner's choice. So that's pretty cool because there's a lot of money and a lot of value to that.
We really had a great cross-section of ATVs entered in the Mod Your Quad contest.
We had one guy who had a completely custom sand bike that was built with a 1300cc Hayabusa engine that was pumping out around 150 horsepower. There was also this one guy who showed up with a really mint Suzuki Quad Sport 500. I mean, it was a vintage bike that looked like it was almost off the dealer showroom floor. There's not many of these left around that are in great condition, and he actually took this entire bike and totally reworked it so it was like about 99% stock. You know, some folks bring side-by-sides by. There was one ATV that was almost turned into a side-by-side, which was really cool. It had a full custom roll bar made, an extended drive shaft, an extended swing arm, and this was so the guy who brought it by could actually go out and ride with his kids and do it safely. I guess it would be kind of like building your own Can-Am Max on a budget.
Narrowing down all the entries to just the final three was no easy task.
We had criteria. We wanted the bikes to not only just be something that was cool and somebody had sunk a lot of money into, we wanted it to be functional, unique to that person and their needs, and something that they had actually put their own, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into.
As long as their reasoning behind building it showed that they were passionate about riding, that they built it for a reason, and that it was truly unique to their personality. And I think we narrowed it down to the three best choices of all the entries. I can only describe the finale, the final voting of the Mod Your Quad contest, as almost rock show caliber. I mean, I've never done anything like this before in my life. Climbing up on a stage in front of thousands of people who are tingling with anticipation to see what's going to happen next and are so excited to be there and to see what's going to happen.
How y'all doing, Trails Fest? You guys having a good time? Oh, come on now, this is Trails Fest 2012. I've been here before, I know you can do better than that. Are you having a good time? There, I knew it, I knew you were. All right, folks.
The finale of Mod Your Quad was pretty cool. We did it in front of the mud pit at the Trails Fest event. Everybody was lined up and they were all really excited. I mean, we got them amped up. We threw some t-shirts into the crowd. You know, we revved everybody up and got them cheering and yelling, because that's how we were gonna do this vote, was by popular applause.
The 3 finalists in this contest represent a wide range of users, of personalities, and of people in general.
Okay, we'll take that. So what we're gonna do is...
We had each contestant bring their vehicle up front. I interviewed them right there and had them tell me about their vehicle, what made it unique, and then give a little sales pitch for why the crowd should vote for them.
I thought the Mod Your Quad contest came off so cool at Hatfield Mccoy because it was just typical and indicative of what the whole event's about. We have these 3 finalists, one with a $20,000 Can-Am, this woman with this super sweet 850 Sportsman, brand new, it's worth a ton of dough. And then we got this guy pulls up with this, like, honestly, it's a pretty beat up Suzuki Eiger with this crazy roll cage on the back and 4-point harnesses for his kids to ride in it. And everybody's thinking, this is crazy. Why would this guy make the final?
And as you can all see, this one is not stock. You can't buy this. So let's have Terry tell us a little bit about what makes this vehicle special.
2007 Eiger that I take my kids riding on, and it's the whole reason I built it. I custom made the cage. I got about $1,000 in it and 140 some odd hours to make it.
I think us as the Dirt Trax crew had the anticipation that both the Polaris and the Can-Am were going to get big cheers, because they were pretty cool bikes. The lady with the Polaris had a really clean, really nice XP 850, and it was, you know, it was just accessorized perfectly. It looked really good. The Can-Am, on the other hand, he raced it. It was, you know, heavily modified. It was a really hot piece of equipment and had tons of motor work done. I mean, this thing was snotty. It was a beast of an 800R.
So here we go. Terry Whiteside's in his 2011 Can-Am Outlander race bike. Let's hear it! Oh yeah, okay, good stuff. Let's move on down the line here. Lady of the group, Cheryl Outman in her 2011 Sportsman 850 EPS. What do you think? Oh, there you go. Okay, it's gonna be tough, all right.
After the first 2 went, we were really hoping that the fellow with the extended ATV would get some cheers and, you know, get some support, but we had no idea that he would get as much support as he did. I mean, the crowd literally went wild.
We got Tony Riker in his 2007 Suzuki Eiger. What do you guys think? Whoa! Okay.
I think what surprised me most was how obvious the winner was. They went crazy for the guy who built his own parts and customized his own bike all by himself with his own blood, sweat, and tears so that he could take his kids out safely on the trail. I think it said a lot about the people who were at Hatfield and the type of people who ride there.
What a story. I was super pumped that he got it. And I was really excited to hear that the Diamondback guys are gonna actually try to work with him and custom build a cover that'll fit his ATV, because it's not a side-by-side. Well, I mean, the kids are side-by-side, so maybe it is a side-by-side, but they're gonna build something cool for him and custom. And that was special, you know, because not only did we get behind him and not only were we excited about him winning, but the Diamondback guys looked at it and went, you know what, we get this too, and we're gonna help this guy out. So it was a pretty cool setup.
Overall, my impression of Trails Fest as a newbie, as a first timer, was just absolutely overwhelming. I think this event is so cool, so much fun. The whole event is so well organized and so well done. This is recreational off-road activity at its finest.
Overall, this trip to Hatfield Mccoy has been the best one yet.
I really had a great time, and I think it was because I got to spend time with my dad and my brother doing something that we love. To come together at one event, I couldn't have picked a better one than Hatfield. I mean, Hatfield is the place I want to be.
Something about just the 3 of us being able to spend time together without anybody else that made this trip different. It really made it special for all of us.
I loved having the opportunity to be with Luke and AJ. I mean, I really like my kids, and I think they sort of still like me, which is probably a really good thing at my age and where I'm at in life. I am so thankful that I was able to do Hatfield Mccoy's Trail Fest with Luke and AJ and be their dad again, be on the ground, and do crazy stuff together as father and sons. There's little doubt that the side-by-side market is the hottest place to do business in the entire off-road industry. This week on Test Ride, we're going to take an in-depth look into the side-by-side segment's most iconic vehicle, Yamaha's 2012 700 Rhino with fuel injection. Yamaha was one of the first players in the side-by-side business over a decade ago. The original Rhino, which interestingly is pretty much the same as this model year 2012 model here, set a new standard for performance in a segment which was predisposed and heavily biased to work-only vehicles. The first 660 Rhino was a powerhouse when compared to the competition. Today, the 700 EFI Rhino is a mid-pack runner in the rapidly expanding sport utility segment. However, it has found a home with the outdoor fishing and hunting crowd. This particular Rhino has a number of accessories which are particularly attractive to hunters, especially when equipped with genuine Yamaha parts and accessories such as this rotating and removable gun case and spotlight that can aid in finding the kill. The heart of the Rhino is a 700cc single-cylinder, single overhead cam, 4-valve EFI mill that's absolutely loaded with low-end grunt. The power on tap here is definitely biased to pulling, carrying heavy loads, and running tight, twisty trails where corner-to-corner snap is a must. It's worth noting the Rhino uses Yamaha's Ultramatic CVT with a permanently engaged drive belt. There's an equally sturdy electric shifting 4x4 system with front diff lock. Know this, Yamaha is first and foremost, by their own admission, an engine company. The Rhino clearly exemplifies this overarching principle. The engine and driveline components used here are not just tough, they're not just durable, they're literally bomb-proof. For that matter, the entire Rhino package is a durable, stout, and supremely well-made piece. Ergos are comfy and adequate for all but corn-fed bubbas, while the cargo box is rated at 400 pounds capacity and the Rhino's maximum tow rating is 1,200 pounds. This well-accessorized Rhino uses some sweet neoprene seat covers, which help bling up its rather Spartan interior, and it has this nicely integrated one-piece plastic roof, which is one of ours and one of your most sought-after accessories. There's a glaring issue with the current Rhino which we must address. This being the only Rhino chassis, it is obviously built for 2 occupants. We agree the Rhino is nimble and easy to slice through tight spots. However, we would trade some of this trail mobility in a heartbeat for a 3-person front seat. In the utility segment, both Polaris Ranger XP900 and the Arctic Cat HDX offer 3-person capacity. In this segment and price range, the Rhino suffers here by comparison. Maybe that last comment should lead to this. It's probably time for Yamaha to upgrade the Rhino platform and respond to some of the competitive advantages that exist in the marketplace. In fact, we'd love to see Yamaha introduce a slightly larger Rhino and a variant that could compete head-on with Polaris's Razor XP900, Arctic Cat's 1000 Wildcat, and the 101 horsepower Can-Am Maverick. The Rhino's IRS Outback and double wishbone front end work together to provide what we consider to be an adequate ride on rough, rutted, and heavily tracked trails. The Rhino's relative small size and ultra-precise rack and pinion steering make for a lithe and sporty feel on trails. Ground clearance is decent at 12.1 inches. The Rhino has been thought of as a sport and utility side-by-side since its inception. This is largely due to the spirited performance that came from the original 660 and continues with the 700 EFI motor. However, in today's world of 50 and 60 horsepower pure utility side-by-sides and up to 100 horsepower pure sport side-by-sides, the Rhino is no longer the big gun at the sand dunes. In fact, it's safe to say the market has changed pretty dramatically around the Rhino, while the Rhino has stayed pretty much the same. This means the sport utility persona of the original Rhino has, by default, morphed much closer to a true utility identity for the Rhino in model year 2012. So this reality, that the Rhino is now a utility vehicle, changes the landscape for this durable, venerable, and strong performing ride. Buyers who are shopping the Polaris Rangers, the Arctic Cat Prowlers, and the new John Deeres need to include the proven and appealing Rhino in all their comparisons.
Dirt Trax Television has been sponsored by Yamaha. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles. Camoplast high-performance Trax. Go where wheels simply can't. Can-Am, the ride says it all. And by Honda's Big Red, Foreman, and Rancher. Built to work.